Okay, so we'll continue to build what we were doing yesterday, right? So we added these many columns, right? And we have this total column, correct? So total is obviously sum of these three values. So there are different ways to do it, okay? There's something called as range, okay? Um, um, you can use range, you can use sum, okay? In this case, okay, you say equal to because I want to create a formula. So equal to SUM sum, right? And sum, and I go and I select these three columns. Or you see sum G2 colon I2. The colon, what you see here is called range. Okay. So I'm saying G2 to I2. G2 to I2 means this is G2 to I2, right? Now you tell me, I have selected this thing. Okay, tell me, what is the range? What is the range of values that I have selected? I've selected some value, right? What is the range of values that I have selected here?
F2 to F11.
Perfect. Yes, it is F2 to F11. You see, F is selected and 2 to 11 is selected. So I've selected F2 to F11, F2 colon F11. Now, one more thing. Yes. Now you tell me what is the range that I have selected?
G G4 to F10.
Correct. D4 to F10.
To F10.
Exactly. Okay. So lowest column, lowest row number to highest column and highest row number. Okay. So D4, okay, D4 to F10, right? So range can always be selected, what you can select like this, okay? You cannot say this, then this, then this. This is not range, okay? I'm selecting, I have pressed control and then I'm selecting individual values, okay? I'm selecting this, then I'm pressing enter, control, sorry. So I have control pressed and then I'm hitting these things. So these are not range. What I'm doing is I'm selecting different values. So if I go here, okay, if I go total and I say sum, okay, now I'm selecting 56, 90. You see, okay, it's not going range, it's giving comma, comma, right? Right? So you can give different values by giving comma. But if you want to select range, okay, so so you can give colon. Range means what you can select using your mouse. This is range. This is range. Okay, this is range. This has range. Okay, this has range. Okay, but okay, if I select using control, these are not range, these are individual values. Okay, okay. So now total has to be same as the previous one, right? So I double click on it. Okay, so I got this. Now you have average. Okay, now average is your total divided by 3, right? 3 subjects, so total by 3. Now again, I go select and double click on it. And I can assign 1 decimal value. Okay, these numbers are numbers, right? So it got right aligned. So I'll make it again center aligned. All good so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, I need to assign grades. Okay, I need to assign grade. Okay, how do I assign grade? So based on average, I want to assign them grade. Okay, so how will I do it? So before I do it right, let's say, and I'm just thinking of um, the what do you call series range. So if you get more than 90, okay, greater than 90, I will say grade A. Okay. Then 80 to 90. Okay. 80 to 90. Because if I say hyphen, it will be treated as minus, right? 80 to 90, let's say I say grade B. Okay. Okay. 70 to 80, grade C. 60 to 70, grade D. 50 to ABCD, right? 50 to 60, grade E. And less than 50, less than 50, okay, say F. Okay. Okay. Now you tell me, how do we use this? Okay. See, first thing is, what should I use? Correct. First thing is, what function should I use? Then it is how to use. Correct. So I want to assign these values. Then which function? What should I use here? Okay, so what I'll do is, okay, I'll select the entire thing and I will drag it here. Okay, anyway, I'll not be adding any rows, but I'll be adding more columns. So what is the advantage of selecting and dragging it here? Okay, why not copy paste it? So the advantage here is when you drag it, right, the relationship, the relative reference that we spoke yesterday is maintained. Okay, so age, if you see, age we said D2, right, divided by, okay, B18. So it was actually O18, right? When I dragged it, everything got adjusted. Did you understand?
Yes, Swapnil.
Okay, so I didn't have to go and change here to know new it is B18, right? I didn't have to go. It was O2, I think. Sorry, not O18, O2. But when I dragged it, the Excel will replace all the or call will change the value to what you have done here. So I don't have to worry about, oh, I'm going to break the link. What will happen if I break that link? Okay, nothing will happen. It will maintain the link. Okay, that's why I dragged it, selected, and by pressing your left mouse, I dragged it. Okay. So I
But
was
if we
talking.
copy and
Yeah.
paste, it won't change the values.
Right. Now see, if I copy paste, okay, I say Control C, Control V. What did I do? I created a new copy, correct? And now
Okay.
if I delete from here, see what happened here?
Okay.
Because I'm creating a new copy. I'm not saying that these are the same thing. So when you drag it, it means you're saying that it is same thing. But when you
Okay.
copy paste, that means I have created a new copy, correct? I created a new copy, and old copy is there, so it is pointing to old copy. So even if you delete it, it's gone, correct? Okay. So yes.
So, like when you do copy paste, like
Mhm.
why the age became like div? It
Huh,
gave the code.
correct. So see, I'm saying divided by B18. B18 is
Okay.
0, right? Nothing, right? 0, then
Yeah.
it takes
Yes.
0. So 5 by 0 is what? When you divide by 0,
Zero.
it
Not.
is division error, 0 division error.
Yeah.
So div is 0 division error. So it should tell you that it's an error. Okay. That's what happens when
Okay.
you do 5 by 0. Okay. This is what you get, 0 division error.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So see, in this case, when you have multiple conditions and your output is dependent on multiple conditions, we used if else. Okay. So here, okay, my let's say I'm talking about grade. Okay, grade. Now this grade is dependent on average marks. Okay, typically when you have these dependent columns, right? You generally highlight with different colors so that you know it's a dependent. Like age is dependent, right? So I'll probably highlight with green. Let's say total and average is dependent. Grade is also dependent, right? I'll put like this. Okay, that means these are dependent on some other columns. Okay, see, whenever you're doing, okay, your company will have its own standard, so you have to follow that standard. Okay, but just I'm telling you, I mean, this is how there has to be some way to identify, that these columns are different columns. Correct? Okay, so grade. Okay, so I was talking about grade. Now in this case we have to use condition. Why? Because you look at this average and check if this is like this, do this. If it's, see, you will have all A to F grade, right? You will have all F to F, A to F grade. But, okay, each individual will have one specific grade only, not different grade, correct? So we use if else. So first let's use simple thing. Okay, so instead of saying grade, let me call it as pass. Okay, so I'm checking if this person passed or not. So let's say passing mark is 50. Okay, let's say passing mark is 50. So I'm going to check if this number is greater than 50 or not, isn't it? So again, I'm using a function. So I'll say equal to if bracket open. So if has first logical test. What logic are you testing? So I'm testing if K2 is
Is
greater
the
than equal to 50 or not. Correct?
yes.
So I'm testing if K2 is greater than or equal to 50. Okay. So this is your test. Test is the logic that you're testing. K2 greater than equal to 50 or not. Okay, fine. So this is the logic that I have tested. Now, value if true. What should you do if it is true?
Pass.
So I'll say yes. Pass is the header, right? I'll say yes.
Okay.
So yes is a text. So you'll put it in quotation
Alright,
like
good.
this. So if has three things: logical test, value if true, value if false. If it is false, then what to do? If K2 is not more than or equal to 50, then what to do? I'm going to say
Fail.
no, right?
No.
So no. Okay. So equal to if is a command to check the value, something if bracket open, something comma something comma something. Something first something is condition. What condition are you checking? I'm checking if value is greater than equal to 50 or not. What happens if it is yes? You write there. What happens if it is no? You write after the comma. So if it is true, the condition becomes true. If it is yes, answer is yes, then you write yes. That's what I'm doing here. Otherwise, you say no and you hit enter, you get yes. Very simple, okay? Don't get too much afraid or things like that. You should start doing from small right? And all these are simple. Is it difficult? Tell me,
No.
right?
So
Yes.
so it's not necessary to write the code like K2 is greater than or equal to 50 is equal, like quotations, no.
No, sorry,
Just
sorry.
simply no
Can
is
you
fine.
can tell me again, please?
You give
I mean,
a
the Excel
if
don't know,
condition,
right?
right?
Sorry, Excel.
She's asking like we instead of like function and all, just simply we can write like K2 greater than or that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean like you gave a command
In
like
quotations you gave, right, Swapna, like
K2,
K2 greater than or equal to 50.
Mm-hmm.
yes. And yes,
Mm.
immediately you gave the comma and you said no.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessary to write the repeat the command again to
No,
say
no,
no.
no, 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 no. It is not necessary
Okay.
to repeat because see, when you say if here, right? If takes three
Yeah.
values. First, the condition, what to do if
Okay.
condition is true, and this is what to do if
Yeah.
condition is false. So it takes three things.
Mm.
First is condition, then what to do if
Okay.
condition is true, and what to do if condition is false. So if condition is
Okay.
true, write yes. If condition is false, write no. Simple. See,
Okay.
if there are multiple conditions, then you have to write. But here we have only one condition, right? So it knows that
Yeah.
if you don't repeat, that means there is only one condition.
Okay. We no need to use a else.
No, else is automatic. Third
No,
place means
got
it
it.
is else,
Got it.
right? So we
Okay.
don't have to write then or else because second position is then, third position is else. So first position
Okay.
is your condition, second position is what if true, third position is what if false.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, now you double click on it. Everything is populated. You see, we have one value which is less than 50, so it says no. And everything else is pass here. Okay.
Okay.
Now I want to give grade. Okay, now let's try to extend it and add multiple conditions. So now I want to give grade here. Okay, now how to give grade. So if, correct, if logical test that if this is greater than equal to 90, then you
Then
say
it-
A. Perfect.
yes.
But what to do if it is no?
Like if it is like 80 to 90 between, then we need to display B
Correct?
like
No, no.
that.
See, here we have only two conditions, right? Yes or no.
Mm.
If, then or else, right? So this is
Or else.
condition. If this is condition, fine. If it is true, then you say 90. Correct? Sorry. If it is true,
A.
you say A.
Yes.
Correct? But what if it is no? What to do then? Okay.
Like it goes to else condition,
You
right?
can
Like
say
Correct. It is an else condition. What to do?
in else condition
So,
again, we need to check whether it
yes.
is
again
90.
quotations and
Again, no, not
oh,
quotation. You have to check.
okay.
Again, we need to
Okay.
write a condition.
Again, we have to write a condition. So see, something like this.
Okay.
So we
Like
have
in
this.
we'll
Yeah.
write
So we
like
have only
else.
two possibilities, right? So you have A. So you're saying is A greater than 90? Okay. So option is yes, no. Only two branch possible. Okay. Yes and no.
Mm.
If it is yes, very simple. Display A. If it is no, then what? Then again do the check. Is average greater than equal to 80? Again, yes, no.
Okay.
That only what I'm saying. Like again, we'll write
Yes,
a
yes, I
condition.
know. Yeah, this is what you said. Correct. But I wanted others also to say, yes, you're right.
Okay.
You said exactly that. I got it.
So
Yeah.
in that case, we need to write multiple codes, right?
Not multiple codes. I'll show you. I'll tell you. I'll show you. Okay. If it is no, again check for condition. Okay,
Uncertainty.
so you
Yeah.
write if, right, bracket open,
Mm.
condition, then and else, and you close, isn't it? In this
Yes.
else, again I'll be writing if.
Okay.
Okay, in this else again we'll be writing
Mm.
if. So again you have if here, again this, and then again if here. And if it is condition, if it is true, and then again if here. So if you see, okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 conditions. 6 conditions means 1 is else, 5 if we have to write.
Yeah.
Correct? So I'm going to say equal to if, okay, if this is greater than equal to 90, then grade A. Then here I'm going to say again if. But remember, I have to close for the first if. Now in else I'm writing again the condition. If this is greater than equal to 80,
80.
then put grade B. Okay, then again if I'm saying.
Again, if. Yeah.
In else I'm doing again if. In else again I'm doing if.
Got it.
Right? Now again I'll say greater than equal to 70. Okay, if it is true,
Mm.
then C. Again I'm doing if. Bracket open. K2 greater than equal to 60. Okay, it is D. Again if this is greater than equal to 50, then grade E, otherwise grade F. Here no need, because only one condition is this, you can say F. So now I'm closing this inner if, then the second if, then the third if, the fourth if, and the fifth if. Is it correct? 66 you get D, yes or no?
Yes.
Now to implement it for all the rows, just double click here. You see, it has done the calculation by itself. Simple? It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's say I want to highlight cells which are no, which have failed, let's say. Okay. So I want to highlight cells, okay, which have failed. Okay. So I will select anywhere, okay, and then go to conditional formatting. You see, the name itself says conditional formatting. Okay, we are formatting it. We want to see, you want to make it bold, you want to make it underline, you want to make it shaded, you want to make it color. All these are called formatting. This is what we did yesterday, right? Conditional formatting
Yes.
means you want to do it, but based on some condition. You want to format it, you want to make it bold, but on some condition, not everything. So click on conditional formatting. Then what do you want to do? You want to do color scales, okay, or you want to do data bars. Okay, I want to do highlight. Okay, so I'll put highlight for now, and later we'll see colors. We also use color scales. Okay, so let's say I want to use highlight now. Highlight what? Greater than, less than, between, equal to, text that contains a date occurring, duplicate values. So in our case, it is text that contains. Contains what? Contains no. Right? And with what you will say, it becomes yellow, whichever color you want to say. Okay, you can even say custom formatting. You want to change the font. Okay, so first what we'll do is we want to do it for the entire column, right? I will select all these values first. Then I'll go here to Condita. Okay, is it in home? Home. I go and I select highlight text that contains no, and I will say okay. Automatically it will do it. Now here, let's say I'll take one more example. 40s, is anybody? No, 50s here. Okay, so now if I give marks as 9 here, you see, automatically it has 28 and it has said no, right? So that's the advantage of writing those formulas. Okay, you don't have to go and change it every time. Moment marks came down, it became highlighted automatically. If it becomes 80 again, it will go off. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is done. Now I wanted to use COUNTIF. Okay, I want to use COUNTIF. I want to see how many people have got grade A. Okay, how many people have got um, B and C and other things. Okay. Did you understand the question? Okay, so let's say here I'm saying grade. Okay, how many obtained grade A, how many B, how many C, how many D, and how many E, and how many F? I want to see the count, grade and count. Okay, so in this case, we use what is, so count, okay, count, okay, so let's say total student, I want to see total number of rows. So you have total, okay, you can say count. Count gives the number of cells in a range that contains numbers. Okay, range that contains numbers. So count, and then I give the range, right? That's what it says. You want the range. Okay, it gives you range 10. Okay. Now I want count. Okay, here also I want count only. Right? Okay. So how many value has numbers? How many value has numbers? In grade. In grade, how many values, how many numbers are there?
Like digits are like one digit, like
Numbers means what? What are numbers?
Digit. See.
How many numbers are there in that column?
no numbers.
There is no number.
So I'm saying count M2 colon M11. That means
Okay.
between M2 and M11, how many numbers are there?
Nothing.
0.
0, right?
Yeah.
Count will only check for numbers. So it
Okay.
says count 0 because there is no number in this grade. But here, when I use on total, I got 10. Now, if you want to count irrespective of whether it's whether it's a text or a number, you want to count. Okay. So in that case, we use count A. So I'm going to say count A, and I'll give this range M12, M2 to M11. So there are 10 values, so count A means non-empty values. Okay. If it is empty, there's nothing in the cell, it will not count. Okay. So if I make it M15, okay, this value will still give me 10. Because from M2 to M15, only 10 values have something, some content. Okay. If you want to check only numbers, you use count. If you want to check any content, you use count A. Okay. But here, I don't want to just look at the values in the column, but how many of them are A? Okay. So here you use count if. So there are two options, two ways to do it. There's something called count if and count ifs. I of S. Apostrophe means more than one if, isn't it? So I want only to check one if. Okay, I have only one if. If it is A, then do what, right? So I'll go here and I'll say equal to count if. Okay, count the number of cells within a range that meets the given criteria. So count if range. In what range I'm looking? I'm looking for this range. What is the criteria? Criteria is that it should have D18. It should have D18. Okay, what did I do? From M2 to M11, so count if, because I don't want to just count all the values. If you want to just count all the values, then you can use count or count A. Count A is to count non-integer, right? Non-numbers.
I mean,
Count.
even like Swapnil, like that count A means like total number. Like,
No, total non-empty cells
okay, non-empty ones. Like this count if means like particular one. It means like A, how
with
many
given
numbers are
condition.
counted?
Yes, given
Okay,
condition.
A grade only one member is there. So that's why displaying count. A is like having
Exactly.
count.
So count will only take range. Count A will only take range, but count if will take range and the condition.
Okay, like if like if similar like if.
Yes. It is running a if and then doing the total,
Okay, yeah.
right?
Count
Count
means
if.
total giving and like condition is like if condition like.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. And
So
for
I'm
count A, the value it should be like non-empty cell, like
count A. Yes, non-empty
yeah,
cells.
it should not be blank.
Yes, exactly. It'll count any non-blank. Count will only count the numbers. If it has
Okay.
non-numbers, if it had D19 also, it will ignore. It should have 19 numbers only.
Okay.
Okay, that's what. Now, here you see, I've said count if in range M2 to 11, where condition is D18. Okay, that means the values in the range should match the condition that we are giving. So in between M2 to M11, if the value in that cell matches to what we give, it will print it will count basically. It will take into count, otherwise it will ignore in the count. So when I give count if M2 to M11, where D18. Okay, that means the value in that column should match the value which I'm giving. D18 means A. Yes, no? So now let's see what
Yes.
happens. If I do double click, what will happen? Total F, is it 0?
There is one F.
Then why is giving 0? See. Here it is M2 to M11, correct? And D18. Now, when I move down, everything will move down by the reference thing that we discussed, isn't it? So if you move down, it became M3, M12, D19. Now D19 is correct. We need to move down, okay? So I want to count B, then C, then D. D19 is correct. But it still should be M2 to M11. Is it not? So I'll delete it and I'll go here and I'll fix M2 to M11.
Like dollar we should keep.
Yes.
Mm.
So that when we move around left or right, up or down, this reference should not change because this is fixed. M2 to M11 is fixed.
Yes, the range is fixed, right?
Range is fixed. So I will put a dollar before column and before row value. But I will not put dollar before the value, checking value, because that I want to change.
Checking value in the sense like D18 to D, like
No,
D18
D18, correct. Only D18, not D18 too.
I mean to say like D18 if you like
Correct. When I go down, it should
drag
be
down means
D19.
like 19, 20.
Correct.
It will count.
Correct.
Okay.
Which logically it should change, right? So that's why I will not. And now when I double click on it, you get all the correct values because starting and ending is same.
Okay.
Condition of course will change. So you have seen count, count A, count if. You have count ifs. Count ifs is where you can give multiple conditions, 2 conditions or more conditions.
Okay, like okay, instead of D22, we can give another condition you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Similarly with count if, you have sum if, average if. Okay. If you do sum, okay, so count is only counting. So this is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, right? So total 10. Sum, we did
It
sum,
will
right?
add, maybe.
Right? So sum will do the sum, right? So, let's say I do sum of this sum total. Similarly, you have sum if. Sum if. And then you give the range and the criteria. I want to do the sum. Okay, only if it is. Okay, criteria is if this is more than 200. Okay, so how do we give?
We didn't get. Like,
We
I
didn't get, right? So how do we give the criteria?
Can repeat the sum if Swapnil didn't understand.
No, sum if I have not done it. I have not done the sum if.
Okay.
Okay, I have not done the sum if now. I'm just I just gave I just wrote logic. Okay, but sum if is the you have to give the criteria, right? So in sum if, first thing is the range, then
Okay.
is your criteria. Criteria is what? Criteria for me is greater than
Okay.
or less than or equal to.
Whatever, like it depends on requirement.
Yes. So I'm saying count from B2 to J2 to J10 or 11. Okay, where where um where the criteria is okay greater than okay greater than, and I'll say 200. No, what did I do? Wait. Sum is greater than 200. Okay. Now, now here also, okay, we need to give the range, some range. Okay. So let's do a different way and then we'll come back here. So let's say I want to perform, okay, sum if. I want to perform sum if on this range. Let's say this range. Okay. Criteria is let's say yes. Okay. And then on which range you want to calculate sum? On this range I want to calculate sum. Right? So criteria is this one, and I'm checking. So this is condition. Okay. So on this range, if the criteria is yes, then perform sum of these columns. Okay. Criteria is this. Okay. Where value should be no.
That means like only like yes numbers will be calculated and no.
Correct.
You are saying, Swapnil?
Correct. Yes. Now in this case, see, I changed it to no. Right?
Okay.
So now you see only no number is calculated. We have only one no. So
Okay,
here
that's
113. So first the range, then the criteria on that range, and third is your list of values that you want to perform addition if the condition is true.
Okay.
So range is this, where I want this to be, A. Okay. Now what you can do is, now previous case which I wanted to do was, in this case, okay, your range is what? This is the range, correct? The condition is that it should be more than 200. Okay, and do addition on this one only. Okay, so here the value should be this. Okay, so is it more than 200? Right? So it is a problem because in this mechanism we are not able to check each value. See, what I have done is I'm checking only one condition, J2. But I need to check every condition, right? Every criteria. Okay. So that's why what you can do is, in this case, you can put, let's say, another column called greater than 200. Okay. See, because here I'm not able to form a condition here, right? I wanted everything which is more than 200. So if I'm trying to do this condition, it is doing only on J2, right? Not on this. So what I'll do is I'll create another column, okay? And I will check if it is greater than 200 or not, right? So if total greater than equal to 200, I'll say yes. Otherwise, I'll say no. Now my life will become easy. Now what I'll do here, I'm going to say sum if, take this range. Criteria is it should be yes. Okay. And sum range is this. Okay. Now you get it. Now if criteria is no, we can check back quickly. So instead of N3, let's give no. So now you see no. How many no you have? You have 4 no's, right? So this is no, this is no, this is no, this is no. So this is one more way. This is also no, right? So I have selected these values, right? At bottom, you see count equal to 5, sum equal to 835. I've selected each individual values. So it's telling me that count is 5. At bottom of this Excel, you can actually see. You see that bottom right side? So I've selected each individual value. So it tells me count is 5, sum is 835. And this is what we got, 835 here. So quickly, if you want to just see, right? And let's say you don't want to record it, you just want to see some value. You can select and you can see at bottom the sum, right? Then you know whether you have selected right or not. Yes or no? Any question? Any questions so far? So today we did if else, we did conditional formatting, and we did COUNTIF and SUMIF. Right? So we'll stop here today. Tomorrow we'll take up, I want to do VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, pivot. Okay. So most probably tomorrow we'll try to finish off Excel. If not, we'll require one more day. We will do one. So I have 2 projects. I'll do one project in the class, and I expect you to do one as assignment. Yes?
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yes.
can we do the similar thing as a practice?
Of course, I'm sharing the Excel with you, right? So you open this Excel and you can do similar thing as practice.
Okay.
Right? I have 3 marks. You give 5 marks. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Right? I'm giving 90 to 100 as grade A, 80 to 90 as B. You do 85 to 100 as grade A, 75 to 85 as grade B. Right? So modify and do
Okay.
same thing. Yeah.
Swapnil, like you'll be
Yes.
saying all the functions or only some functions which
See,
we need like in during company, like
correct. I'm going to talk about important functions like sum, average, total, right?
since like when you are doing like when you are typing on some it is showing so many functions, right? Like
Correct.
that's why I'm asking, like
Correct.
do you
You're
explain
right.
all the
Right.
things or
We
only
want,
some?
it's not possible to do all, right? But important ones, yes. Right. Like if else we have done it. Okay. Now, if you talk about, right, we have done yesterday round, ceiling, floor, right? So
Okay,
most
main
of functions
one.
will do, but
Okay.
then there's no end because complete mathematics you can do like log, median, all those things, right? So which probably we may not need it now, right? But as and when we move ahead, we'll do. Okay.
Okay, Swapnil. Okay.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll come up with some situation, and then we will see how to use specific functions.
I mean, mostly used ones you are saying, like if in business requirements means we need
Yes.
to explore or like in between we'll get means.
Correct. Now, maybe what we can do is tomorrow is we look at the airport's code, airport city code, right? So what happens is, and we'll create our own rule. We'll say that first 3 letter of the city would become the airport code, let's say. So we'll see how to get the first 3 characters from the text to create this airport code. So like that, we'll come up with situations and we'll try to use these functions. So whatever generally we use in Excel, mostly we'll cover. Yes?
Okay.
Yeah. Any other question?
No, second.